Me all, how would you all settle down? The reason is because these two folks sort of were sitting in a similar setup couple of years back, went out, did some hustling, and currently running two of the startups that are already funded seed rounds, and that is not a big deal. But the point that I'm trying to make, that all of you sitting here and listening to these two might able to sort of shorten your path of the journey that they had. So Chirag and Haren, when this Ecell team reached out to me and said कि sir आप ही देख लीजिए दोनों AI startup हैं, and I was like okay, and when I sort of gone through your company everything, I was like wow. So the first thing that I observed very particularly is that you sort of joined a startup as CTO in younger in your life, and you discover a CTO, younger CTO, after going through the strategic phase of multiple startup consultation, everything. So both of your journey look quite different, and therefore, how about first you both sort of talk about the company itself, and then explain this to these everyone sitting in this one, that what is mean, that how can they sort of choose the path that they would like to choose in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's not a couple of years of hustling. It's exactly 10 years.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm back. I think this is a room full of decent amount of audience. I was not expecting this too, because if it was 2016 and I was in the campus, I would have not been here, or I would have been in the room sleeping, because I would have done some gaming last night. So fair enough. Really appreciate all of you coming out and taking time. See, fundamentally, I'll start answering from this question, is whether it's me or whether it's my choice of co-founders. It's been pretty straightforward. Basically, when you just step out of an IIT, we always feel we are one privileged with the brand, and second thing is we think there are easy gateways to hit more of roles which we always envision from the campus, correct? But fundamentally, what I realized, I tried doing the same thing. I thought, मैं कहीं product manager बन जाता हूँ, या फिर I'll start owning some functions for companies. But then later I realized that it doesn't actually work the same way in a corporate. You need to really choose a very singular vertical. I was telling in the incubation center today that if you want to enter software companies, I'm guessing most of you would want to, you either build or you sell. You have to choose one, and you need to go deeper. Deeper is extremely deeper. What I mean to say is, to the point where it gets extremely monotonous, but you're not giving up. Super easy examples, right? So when I picked my first job, I mean, keep the glorified designations aside. All that I was doing for the first 6 months was I was writing different kinds of emails. At that time, ChatGPT didn't exist in 2016, and I was sending it to 300, 400 people every day. My mom said कि my mom observed me one day जब मैं घर से काम कर रहा था, and she said ये करने के लिए तो IIT करने का तो ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, right? So what was the point? She asked, and every time I go back to her today, casually I pull her leg by saying, see, I had to do that because today I'm not reliant on anybody to do that in my own company, because you cannot sell without starting a conversation. Same way, today I can sit here and give you 200 lectures about how to build an AI first product and stuff. But can I literally sit and write 5,000 lines of code at minimum today? And gunshot, I can tell you, when I pass on the mic to Chirag, he might have been doing this for last 5-6 years. You passed out every day, because founder is a glorified designation, hence the designation doesn't exist. There is no designation in the world called founder because it doesn't exist. You are the first employee of the company, and you unfortunately or fortunately have to be the most hardest working person in that system. So my journey, going back to your question, I started doing a lot of smart work. I failed miserably. I said, okay, now let's start relying on hard work. So I did all these hard things of staying monotonous, that is doing the same thing again and again every day, whether it was calling people, whether it was being a subject matter expert, whether it was presenting the company 18 hours a day, which is more than the college time, by the way. We complained about labs and lectures, but this is like breeze. And then I was fortunate enough to join a company which today is $1 billion or close to $1 billion valuation company. But when I started, it was like literally zero in valuation. I was the founding team member. I did everything apart from writing lines of code. Hired young folks like you. Rushed through the roads of 17 countries to onboard like 150, 200 customers. And then 6 years down the line, 7 years down the line, I found it was the time. Started Pulse, raised my first institutional round. We are close to $500,000 in revenue, raising our next round, pre-series A, in a month or two. And here I am talking to all of you today.
Awesome.
Hello. Yeah. I want to start painting again. So, thanks a lot, Haren. And I think my journey also resonates a lot with what he has said. Right. I did not just write code, FYI. I also made chai for my teammates. I also take out printouts. I also did a lot of bank stuff, and that's what a founder does. Before that, before actually moving on, I'll just give you guys a quick intro about myself and a bit about my journey so that you also have some idea. So I graduated in 2019. I was like in 2019 I was sitting here just like you guys trying to see what can be done with the life. Although I had a job, but again there was this fire inside. Is the job going to be enough, or is there something else that we can do? But rest everything aside, I started working. I was a good engineer. I was a 10x engineer, worked hard, about 90 hours a week, became so well, did a couple of company switches as well, and in my last organization I was heading engineering for them despite having, let's say, 4 or 5 years of professional experience. And that's how hard work and constant effort went into in building that mind and that journey of constantly working towards led me there. So I did a lot of things. I was working as a head of engineering, and then one day I decided that it's not something I would like to continue. And again, what Haren said, either you need to have that build mentality or you need to have that sell mentality, right? And you need to go deep into that. So I was always passionate about building stuff, and hence I chose the path of becoming a CTO and not a CEO, because for me, building is more important than selling, and hence I also found a co-founder for whom the selling was the passion. And that's how our journey began. And right now we are a team of 40 members. We work out of Bangalore. We have also raised seed in institutional round. We are also raising a Series A in next 1 month and close to around 1.5 million in ARR. So things are going well, but it did not come easy, right? It took constant effort, not just from the tech perspective, from monotonous things like signing 10,000 papers, giving OTPs every day to the accountant. Yeah, these kind of things are something which no one tells you about as a startup founder, right? A startup founder seems to be a very glorified position. It's a founder, or these titles like CTO seems to be very glorified, but in reality it comes with a lot of extra effort and baggage, which for some of you might not be worth it, but some of you who actually have that grit, who actually have that determination, will have to do. And what Haren said, he wrote 500 emails daily manually to get to where he is. For me, I wrote 5,000 lines of code without ChatGPT, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys. And yeah, pretty sure most of you people cannot write that amount of code, but which is fine. But the point is, if you have that grit, if you have that mentality of doing the monotonous work even when you know it is monotonous, but you know it will lead to something, that is all is required to be a founder in my opinion.
Awesome. Interesting name. I mean, when I read it, I'm like, what is this? Then I visited your website and loved it. How about you explain to our audience? I mean, they would like to understand. And I have a question. When I visited your website, all the industry I saw, but healthcare was missing. When are you adding that healthcare, man?
Soon.
Okay, how about you go ahead and talk about the company first? Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit about REVSPOT. By the way, the company is called REVSPOT, and we do lead generation and qualification for B2C companies. What that means is, so there are a lot of high-ticket B2C companies in India, including domains like real estate, BFSI, health tech, healthcare, then insurance, cars, jewelry, right? So anything which sells at a high-ticket price directly to consumers, we serve them. And how do we serve them is either we generate good quality leads for them, or we qualify the existing leads that they have. Quick leads are basically potential buyers, right? People who would like to buy your product are called leads. So we generate those leads, and then we also, so we have a product which is an AI calling product. Our AI calls them, has the conversation with them for 4 or 5 minutes, and then determines whether this lead is actually a potential true buyer, or is he just going to waste time. And that's how we generate leads, qualify them, and say, okay, this lead has a buying propensity, and this lead also wants to buy and is a serious buyer, and then we sell those leads to these high ticket price companies. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, we'll come to the tech part later because they would like to understand for sure. Haren, Pulse, absolutely amazing. I can tell you that when we were building our first product, feedback come across different channels. It can come on the app store, it can come on the comment social media section, it can even generated by a product team to sort of get the feedback. But converting that into a feature, like I loved it. How about you go ahead and sort of explain them what Pulse is?
Yeah, I would love to. I do it every day for living. So,
Awesome.
thanks for asking that question. But before that, just a clarity, because there's a lot of young folks here, which needs to be addressed. Is with Chirag, I think, was saying is his co-founder is also from the same college.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from IIT Patna, by the way.
Yeah.
So, it is just a skill. Doesn't mean you need to go to an MBA now and come, or Chirag need an MBA guy to start it, right? So you're already privileged that when you're starting a software company, people who understand software can always better present it and sell it, by the way. So be encouraged to pick those roles, but don't rush back to now I want a business education mandatorily. I just wanted to clarify that here. But again, coming back to Pulse. So essentially me, Vatsal is also an alumni of IIT Patna, and Alok is from IIIT Hyderabad. They were facing it from the developer side, and I was seeing it running a $15 million of profit and loss center in APAC. That feedback is always distorted across a lot of system of records. Today they are filled across the world. You call them CRM, somebody calls it support the system, somebody calls it Slack chats or messaging, somebody calls it email, somebody calls it call transcripting tools, right? Fundamentally the problem is how do you can ideally use this entire plethora of data that is sitting, which we call a gold mine, and underlying use that intent, that sentiments that have come from your raw customers in the name of feedback, and convert them into real actions. For example, what if REVSPOT is using Pulse, and fundamentally Pulse is telling Chirag that, hey Chirag, you know what, the next 2-3 weeks, if you can build this feature and solve these 10 bugs ideally, you might see an increase of 20% in NPS, or your NRR can get better by 100K, right? And maybe a 50K contract will close upfront. Every business owner is tempted to jump on it, really address it, and see that converting into revenue, right? So fundamentally, we are trying to build the world's first AI native feedback intelligence operating systems for both B2B companies, where we predominantly serve technology and software companies, and also for consumer companies like Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, you name it, right? For them to process feedback and get actionable decision intelligence out of it. So exciting category. We either might set shops pretty soon, or we might go extremely large very fast, because we are trying to create a category. So we'll have to see how that turns out, but that's about Pulse.
Awesome. Chirag, since he also already answered that, how did he got the idea? And that was the next question. So for you, the question is, before the current company, you tried building something and that failed. I don't know, you shut it down. How about you lay out whether that failure helped you or like you discover something? Or so did the idea of REVSPOT comes out?
That failure told me what not to do. And I'll tell you how. Right. So before starting RevSpot, I was building this company called NitAI. It was an LLM ops company. In simple terms, we were building softwares to integrate large language models into existing products on a production level. And that idea came from a developer, which was me. Right, so I was an engineer, I was a developer, and that was my brainchild because I faced that problem. What I did not consider कि a product is just a part of a company, it's not the company. And I was extremely focused on product, building product. Day and night I was writing code, building product, trying to polish it well, only to realize later that people don't want to use it. Right? Even if you build a world-class product, there are scenarios where you might realize that people don't need it. And that was actually my first idea, where my first startup was, now that I look back I laugh, but it was a asset gifting platform. We were building a platform to gift stocks, to gift mutual funds, to gift crypto. We built the platform only to realize people don't want to gift assets, they want to gift flowers. Right? So
this is true.
That was a true learning for me, and when I realized building a company is much more difficult than building a product, and you need to build that skill in yourself where you constantly think from the customer perspective. Right? And that was my learning. And then I did that. Next company when I started RevSpot, I took a decision. From this point, I am not going to build a product until I solve a customer problem. And my first product in RevSpot was a Google Sheet and a Zapier integration, and we got like 70,000 rupees from a customer. Then we realized, okay, this is something we can sell. Customers want it. Customers are ready to pay for it. And someone who asks, I have a lot of ideas. When do I decide I want to build and go build on this idea? The short answer is, if someone is ready to pay for that idea, that's good enough indication for you to start. So our first customer was just on Google Sheets, and that's how we scaled to 3-4 customers, and then we started building the product, and that's where the RevSpot journey began.
Awesome. So just to summarize this, what he is saying that you can build your MVP without coding. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing learning for especially students sort of thinking or building that one. Awesome. Just to add, Haren, you said no, for if you are in IIT, you don't need to go IIM to sort of learn selling. I'm also not from like medical background, but I am building health tech. So I think I echoed that one. The next question is, again, the journey of both of you has been different. And when I was sort of looking at this one, I realized very interesting observation in your profile, that you were also angel investor and a strategic advisor for a couple of startups for many years. And I'm assuming that those were very strategic in terms of understanding the entire the business aspect, or do you think being part of these indirectly, having full-time job, helped you sort of take the future decisions in building what you're building today?
Oh, no, there was not so much science there.
Achha.
I think both those angel investors, strategic advisors are extreme jargons. The point was, there was a point where we crossed 10-12 million in annual recurring revenue at Yellow AI, just my profit and loss center. And then when I had a word with my founders, they said, see, it's, when you basically surpass that journey of 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 25, these are all milestones of a growing, fast growing companies. not a lot of people in the country end up doing that number. You end up learning a lot. Practical case studies, kind of an examples during that process. So the discussion with my last company founders was, so either I redo it by joining another company, or I do it for myself by starting my own company, or I at least enable few other young companies that are coming out to not take those wrong steps, and I help them navigate well. So I did it for a couple of companies, and both were very close friends of mine, continue to be close friends of mine. So I had little bit of savings, so I said, no, there's no fun if I have not invested in it, so I'll continue to. So few people are nice enough, they gave advice, stocks, I trusted a lot and I put in. But what an amazing founder mentality they had. They were not against, not even one input, but then I think they were like, I don't know how many people were part of the incubation cell meeting I was doing. Are there anyone there? Okay, cool. Did you just correlate with what Chirag just said? Remember I said the same thing, that you need to first sell and then start building. So these were all realized people who understood the formula. So for me it was very easy to vibe with them and mentor, because if fundamentally you go to somebody just out of college, I'm not saying you should not start companies just out of college, but I'm saying it's very, very good if you go work in a very 0 to 1 company and then start, by the way. That's a very better formula than starting out of college. So it becomes extremely difficult to advise, be strategic, give inputs and all that. So when we vibed, I said, okay, it's easier. And then I was successful in those stints. I took those companies 0 to 5 in 2 years, and it was not easy for the founders. There were 4 founders out of IIT Delhi. I said, see, there's no point selling this to B2B, because you cannot scale your ARRs, right? Maybe this solution is super perfect for consumer companies, but they said we'll end up finding large incumbents. I said, it doesn't matter, right? Build it, because the market is huge. There is no market leader yet in your system. Today there are 5 million ARR plus company, and 5 million ARR plus companies in India are pretty less. You can just count them on your fingers. So yeah, I mean, I'll not say I learned a lot. I just shared at least my executing knowledge, which I did, the daily grind I did every day. I did it for them also. In fact, I was not like Gyan Dene Wala advisor. I hired their early team. I hired their head of growth. I had their initial lead generation setup team and stuff. So that now today turns out to be like a very fast revenue generating function in an AI native. One is a customer intelligence company, and the other is a sales RevOps automation kind of a company. Feels really happy looking at their growth. But then yeah, pivotal in my journey to that, I have such thing.
Awesome. What I have learned is that building a startup, especially software-based SaaS product, were difficult before AI writing code, or at least difficult to build, reach to the MVP. Of course, there's a lot of sales part goes out, and everything's are still same. You, Chirag, you had tried projects in your college days, and there were some activities from your side as well. So, we would like to understand, since they are still students, and especially the tools that they have available right now, can help them sort of the time spam of at least thinking or building startup. So, what sort of activities helped you, or decisions helped you in early when you were in college? I'm sure that there would be something that must been a butterfly effect, and then whatever you are doing today, help them. I mean, what they are sitting here and trying to understand is like, how can they sort of become better 10x, 20x of Chirag and Haren at this stage? So help them with the things that helped you.
Okay. Again, as Haren Bhaiya said, I also would like to give the same advice. Don't start a company straight out of college. Might sound like a demotivating thing.
Don't get it wrong.
Don't get it wrong, but it's a good idea to gain industrial experience, learn from mistakes of other people, and then try to correct those rather than doing your own mistakes. Because sometimes those mistakes, it's a good idea to do your own mistakes, why not? But if you can learn from others' mistakes, why not? Right. So work in 0 to 1 companies. Either from product point of view, tech point of view, or a business point of view, whichever domain you are interested in. It does not matter. I mean, MBA does not matter, BTech does not matter. It's about your interest. If you are interested in building, if you are interested in tech, work as an engineer, work as a product person. If you are interested in business, work as a growth person, business strategist, founder of his kind of roles. But in college, what I would recommend is first figure out what excites you. Right? Are you a tech person? Are you a business person? Or are you a both person as well? There's no thing you have to be tech or you have to be business. You can also do both. But it's added effort, but you should be ready for it. So first identify in yourself what kind of person you are, uh, and then try to improve the skills that you have in that particular aspect. For tech people, if I have to recommend, go and start building projects, right? And not just the projects that are part of your course, but a lot of other projects, and that actually helps, right? Go and contribute in open source communities. You learn how to actually write good quality code, build products, build micro SaaS. If not full-fledged company, there is a concept of micro SaaS. Just build a small product, try to sell that product to 10 people and see how that goes, right? And from business point of view, things that you should also learn is how to sell, how to coordinate. And then these kind of positions like let's say Anvesha Pay, if you have to work, organize Anvesha, organize these kind of events, you learn a lot in coordination, team management, how to talk to people. That is also a skill a lot of people don't have, right? So how to actually go out, do things which have an impact. Don't just sit in the room and keep on researching, googling. You might keep on researching 10 things, but if you are not able to implement those 10 things, I don't think there's a point, right? So this is one recommendation: do things, just don't research.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, I think,
yeah.
no,
Non-developer point.
no, I'm just
POV.
no, I'm just able to vibe with Chirag a lot. So I think it's spot on. But fundamentally, I think if I can go deeper and answer your question which you have asked, another point of thing I see is, for example, at college, what would you do, right? Fundamentally, there are so many tools now. Have you guys heard about Lovable? How many of you have heard Lovable? If you are from computer science, raise your hands. Raise your hand. Okay, good. Bad habits, right? And to your point too, if you have become a developer using Lovable, that's a very very bad statement. You can never build an enterprise-ready application using Lovable. No offense to Lovable, the use case is different. Everybody understood it wrong. Okay, Lovable helps you build applications. Okay, let's start Swiggy now. Shall we? No, that's not how it works. Your app will break. It will break into pieces, right? Because the workflow of ordering out of such huge stock, right? Maintaining even the database for such big setup is mad. You're talking about infrastructure worth millions of dollars. I mean, if a commerce company, I don't know, if it's sitting on AWS or a Microsoft Cloud, only they can tell you how much big valued customer they are for these incumbents, cloud providers, right? So engineering. So Vatsal keeps saying this in our office. He keeps saying this very regularly to the dev team: is are you a builder or are you a developer? There is a huge difference. A builder ensures he is covering a lot of edges, right? A builder, an engineer, he's engineering a lot of stuff. You're a developer, you're just trying to fix a problem at hand, right? You just want to code something, show a prototype. Okay, buddy, that's not helping, by the way, right? No Slumbergees, no Adobes are coming to buy the product, 100%. The problem is when you get so habituated to giving a prompt to a Claude and asking it to give you a code, then you are, every time you are doing that, you are actually degrading your true engineering skill. You will become so addicted to it that next time somebody asks you to write it from scratch, like you're just putting an hash and then you're starting, you will have a starting problem. Like you will not able to start, right? And then forget being a full stack engineer. That's a very different thing. So my humble suggestion is today if I'm hiring somebody for Pulse, right? Yes, I'll hire smart folks, right? And then if somebody here in the room is wondering, hey, can I get that one chance? I'm good at communication, poor at tech, but I think I can be a strong generalist. I can help in GTM. I can do a lot of monotonous work. Right? We have roles. You're hired immediately, right? You're in 4142. Take your required permissions, and then we can work together. But the problem is, but if you're claiming you're an engineer, I can tell you evaluation is going to be brutal. Whether it's Chirag, whether it's Vatsal, anybody. It's just a show off that we will use LLM AI in our products. But I'll be wondering if they're saying, come build my product using all AI tools, and no way, no chance, right? Because they're not stable systems fundamentally, and then there are something called SLAs, right? Which you need to meet. If your system keeps breaking and then the SLAs keep deteriorating, you'll pay more than what you're running from the customer eventually. So it might be difficult with the amount of resources available out there in the world, but try to be as raw and rustic as possible as you are in the system. Write blunt code. Try practicing that gym work which is said, right? Like 5,000 lines of code. Can you reach 4K on your own? Try. Nothing wrong about it. Because trust me, guys, the world out there is brutal. There are too many people. Coming back to the resources are so widely available, right? Lot of people learning amazing ways of building, amazing ways of learning, and they're building well. So you might be in an IIT, you might have amazing infrastructure around you. Doesn't matter. In the end, your basics are tested. How complete engineer are you as tested? Infra se leke application tak, backend se leke frontend tak, are you fully enabled to build? Or you are the guy, you are hired. But you're saying, no, I'm an amazing backend engineer from IIT Patna. Depends what happens after that. So that's my humble input, because we are seeing, we are evaluating. You would have spoken to 4,000 people to build a team of 20 people now. So it's not easy out there.
Awesome. So I think one of the biggest learning for me is that I have to grow every single day. Like I have to evolve, I have to learn, and I have my own methods. What are your methods of evolving yourself, updating yourself with the growth of the company that you have? Whether you read, write, and I don't know, give them the practical insight, the tool that you use, anything that can help them to sort of convert that into the habits of from today. So, yeah.
I'll go first. Yeah. No, I think, fundamentally great question, but guys, you need to do same thing every day. It's not a tool or a book, at least in my opinion. Chirag might suggest something else, but it is doing the same thing every day. You really need to put efforts. Blunt, everyday efforts have to be put. So there is this formula I follow. Few people push back and say it doesn't work in every scenario. But I fundamentally like sticking into it that real outcome comes when you have effort plus intent. So I write it on my board and say E plus I is equal to O. Till the time both don't fall together, desired outcome is impossible. You might work extremely hard with zero passion and interest, desired outcome is not coming. You might have super intent. You want to replace Tesla in smart vehicle, this thing. Did you start building? Did you do a tire partnership? Did you write the smart code that will sit inside your car? Not yet. Then okay, you're not building a Tesla. Very clear. The point is, do a sub project of that in college. Like pick something, be number one at it, right? It could be as simple as education. You want to study, get a good grade. At least start from there, right? It should not be like, okay, I didn't build anything outstanding. Okay, I didn't study well too. Okay, and then what did you do? Did you play cricket? Did you get a strong medal for IIT, like inter-IIT sports meet? Something has to be there, which will speak that, okay, if you like something, you'll go all in. I know all of you build your resumes, right, for your internship and stuff. This is how a resume is read. They'll see one thing at least from top to bottom where you have gone all in. Right? Where you have gone completely all in. So this hacker rank things which you guys put, right? I've seen people putting 1423, 795, 694 ranks. Dude, that won't work. Are you double digit or the single digit? Are you the top ranker in that? No? Okay, don't add. Point. Because there are hundreds, thousands of people who are flying around that rank. So point is, what is your top thing? One top depth thing which you can do. It could be sport also. It could be culture also. It doesn't matter because there can be replicas of that in companies that speaks about your character and what kind of a person are you. But if nothing is looking, everything looks around average, then that's not a great profile. So there has to be something where there has to be depth explored by you inside the college. So that goes out my one input. No tool, no books. It's okay. Go there, execute. That's what matters in the end.
Interesting take.
Same for me. I mean, I'm wondering about this.
Yeah. I kind of have.
Wait. Let me say that. He is not your Vaya right now, so he's not going to do ragging with you. You can speak your
No,
mind.
I know. It's going to be different.
I started with that.
Yeah.
So I do have a contradictory view here, where I would not like you guys to go deep into one thing, because the problem then is if you go deep into one thing, what if there are other things that might excite you more, right? So generally what I recommend is first explore. For fourth year people, maybe not. Then you might go deep into one thing, but first 2-3 years, and it's college. Come on, I mean, you are here to explore. You are not here to be professionals, and you are not here to be experts into something, right? So just explore first, figure out what you want to do,
And then go deep.
and then go deep.
Yeah.
Right, so don't. I mean, that's what I think you
That's
also.
what I
meant,
think.
yeah. Right, so first 3 years explore, fourth year go deep into one thing, do something crazy. Try to do something crazy in that aspect, right? Because that stands out, and if something stands out in your resume, you have a better chance, obviously, right?
And there has to be one. for sure.
But there has to be one, yeah. Then he is right. But tools, coming to tools, books. Obviously, there are books. I mean, but I'm pretty sure you have a lot of books from curriculum which you guys are not reading. But but there are books. You can read books. You can find them on internet. Do a research. I think it will do a better job than me in recommending. Tools I can recommend. For tech folks, I can recommend a couple of tools that you guys should try out. Some of these are tools which will help you but will also make you lazy. For example, Cursor. Right. So Cursor, Claude, all of these are great tools which will help you build stuff, but use it at your own risk.
Correct.
And when I say that, I also mean it because for all the junior folks in my company, I've actually removed the Cursor subscription because they were highly dependent on it. For seniors, I still have the Cursor subscription because they know how to use it, when not to use it as well they know. But for junior folks, they don't have that balance. So they go all in and use only Cursor, even for one for loop. I found a person who wrote a for loop using Cursor. But grow up, just write that for loop. It's fine. It will take you 30 seconds extra, but it will be worth it. So don't go all ballistic in I will use Cursor only. Use it at your own risk, but they're awesome tools. Do use them. It will help you. It will make things faster for you. And what else? Any other tools that you would try to recommend?
Yeah, but it depends on their use case.
Yeah.
What they would want to use for. But yeah, prototype using emergent, lovable, good. If you have an idea in mind, not bad.
Awesome. So that would be the last question. And I would thank Chirag and Haren. And how about we give them a round of applause? They are what I can tell you is that I'm pretty sure that there will be some neurons in your mind which will be get a spark connected, and it will help you in future whenever you are starting your own, or if you are starting your own. You don't have to. I mean, they are totally right. If any entrepreneur in their right mind will understand the complexity of building a startup or building business, they will probably not start. So that is a fact. and they are being brutally honest. So thank you both of you for coming, and
Thank you, sir.
we'll give them. Wait. We'll. अभी लंच होगा ना?
हाँ भाई मैं बोल रही थी क्या करना है?
लंच करो, उसके बाद हमारे पास 3 सेशन है, एक सेशन के साथ 2 साथ